Yeah, she wants two hands on Abe. But she doesn't like it when two hands are on her from Kelmende. Now looking for this. Oh, the turnover. And the referee will let this carry on.
Absolutely.
Can she get that leg out? It started in, it's going to go out. She's got the hold
Too
down.
late. There's not going to be any, there's no way there's enough energy to get Abe off from that position.
The question is answered, and it's going to be Ippon here to Abe, and the current world champion is holding the Olympic champion down. Wow.
So we're back at it here for another breakdown technique. We're at the 2019 World Championships. In the semifinal, we have the current world champion against the current Olympic champion. Semifinals of the 52 kilo weight class. Let's see what we got. So I'm gonna play the video here. We have Kosovo in blue here with a good, strong over the back grip. Japan slips it, knocks her down, continues right into Newaza, like right away, almost instantaneously. Hits that Sumigaishi roll. She gonna get the leg out here? Yeah, she's gonna slip that. That grip slips out. She ends up pinning the girl from Kosovo for Ippon, and that's the end. She moves on to the final, okay? Let's take a look here. So what I wanna do first of all is, let's just kind of get to the point where she's about to knock her down, right here, okay? Let's just move forward. I wanna talk about something just really quick, right here. Okay, there, right here. She's clearly on the ground. So what we're gonna do is I wanna put kind of like a shot clock up, okay? Where now this clock is at 0 because she is on the ground. Now, as we back the video up, play the video forward, back the video up, this timestamp will kind of let us know how quickly the Japanese player is transitioning, because when we're talking about getting people on the ground in judo, the time it takes you to get what you need to start the turn or start the arm lock or start the choke is probably the most important part to the technique, is because once that player is all locked up, it gets more and more difficult. So every time that second ticks, 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, every time it goes a little higher, it gets more and more difficult to get the technique. So how quickly she's able to do this is really important. So let's take a look at that first. As she starts to knock her down, she doesn't have it, she doesn't have it, she doesn't have it, still doesn't have it, still doesn't have it, still looking for it. Like we can see the hand down here, she still doesn't have it. She's looking for it, she's looking for it, right here. Boom. It's taken her just over 2 seconds to lock that grip up, okay? Now, I want you to just, when you're at your home club, I want you to try that. I want you to try, do a ko-uchi, have your partner belly out, and then I want you to try to get to this grip in under 2 seconds. And then that's just gonna show you the level of speed and precision that you're able to get to when you talk about practicing your transitions and practicing Newaza, doing uchikomis. You know, at our club, we used to do, you know, in my day, we used to do these 1-minute drills where it was getting in and turning people as quick as you can, as many times as you could in under a minute. And we would get into, you know, the upper teens, right? Because we're getting so efficient at the movement that it becomes like repetitive, like clockwork almost, where your body instinctually knows what to do. And she's able to just lock this up, like she's locked it, like she's not going anywhere, she's sitting for it. And it's an important thing also when you're doing Newaza, that you have to understand like your own personal stages. And what I mean by that is every technique in Newaza has stages of success, right? Stage 1 for her here is getting that grip locked up. Once it's locked up, then we can move on to stage 2. And once you have it locked up, you can almost take a second or a second and a half, 2 seconds of a breather to say, oh, I have it. Now I know I have it. Let's move on to the next stage. Okay, because once you have it, you shouldn't lose it. And we're probably gonna see that here where, yep, so right there, just like I said, about a 2-second breather where she locks it up. Now, at about the 2.5 second mark where she's taking that breather, we can see that she's starting to move on to stage 2, which is get that bottom knee inside for the technique, okay? So she steps up, She gets that lift, sit right there. So we are 5 seconds into this technique with the current Olympic champion. It doesn't get any more difficult than this for hitting this technique. We're in the semifinals of the World Championships. You're fighting the current Olympic champion, and you're able to hit these techniques with this speed and this amount of precision. It's incredible to do, right? So as she sits, she gets the roll. Perfect, okay. So she knows she hits that roll and she settles. This is the other stage of her technique. So she had stage 1, lock the grip. Stage 2, hit the roll. Stage 3, we gotta get our leg out, okay? So now we're into stage 3. She's taken a few seconds to get here, but we have it. And now she locks it up, right? She back steps to prevent her from getting rolled. The girl on bottom from Kosovo, Kelmendi, has locked it up. She grabs that pant leg, she's pushing it away, she's kicking the bottom leg, getting knee separation in order to pull that leg out, right? As she moves through, she's still working. Look at that, you can see that grip just slip right out. There was no way she was gonna be able to hold that. That grip is fighting this hand's position, right? It's fighting this hand's position. It's fighting this foot being pulled out. It's fighting the bottom leg pushing on that bottom leg, right? There's no way this one grip, unless it was like really dug into the gi, is gonna be able to hold that position. Okay, so as we start working through this grip, boom, you just see it pop off. And from here, you can see that this hand is starting to elevate up in order to drive her back. This hand's pulling down to put her back on the floor. Her other leg is sliding out the back, right? So she has one leg up, the other leg has to go bounce down through so she can get her belly down and secure the pin. So it's important that when you're doing Newaza, especially in a competitive setting, that you always show progression through the technique, okay? And the way the Japanese girl's been able to do that is, one, she locked up what she needed super quick, right? It took her just over 2 seconds from the time she knocked her down and that girl touched the mat with her stomach first before she had that grip locked up. It took her another 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds to be able to pick her up and start sitting in for the roll. Once she had the roll, it took her another 0.5 seconds to 1 second to start the opportunity of freeing her leg in order to get here. And what the referee is doing inside his head is he's hitting all those checkpoints and all those milestones within the technique, right? Like, oh, do they have something they can work with? Yes. Are they using it? Yes. Are they moving through the technique? Yes. Are they in a position of winning? Yes. So the ref is just going to let this continue and continue as long as you're showing the progression. What I see a lot of people do is they take something and they're like, I feel like this is really difficult to use. Let me go to something else. And it's like, hey, if you're able to get to this position all the time, you need to try, okay? I guarantee you there are times at practice or during training sessions where she's able to lock that grip and she can't lift that person, but she's trying, right? Even if she's failing at practice, she's trying because she's strengthening her body. She's strengthening the technique as a whole because each technique requires different muscle groups, different muscle patterns that all have to be strengthened, right? And this is just such a beautiful technique as she starts to work through and pin her. We're gonna watch it one more time because the transition and the speed and the dedicated stages within the technique are what the key things are here, right? She knocks her down and instantaneously she pops up, she looks for it. She sends that hand through, she locks it up, she sits, locks the grip, picks her up, rolls her, sits, takes the hand, puts the foot in position, frees that leg, done, that's all she wrote, game over.
Yeah, she wants 2 hands on Abe. But she doesn't like it when 2 hands are on her from Kelmendi. Now looking for this. Oh, the turnover. And the referee will let this carry on.
Absolutely.
Can she get that leg out? It started in, it's going to go out. She's got the hold
Too
down.
late. There's no way there's enough energy to get Abe off from that position.
The question is answered, and it's going to be Ippon here to Abe, and the current world champion is holding the Olympic champion down. Wow. It started inside, it went outside into the red, so the referee lets it carry on. Talk about progressive Newaza. She has a look at the clock there, just waiting for it, but like you said, no way that she was going to get her off there, and Kelmende is so angry with herself.